Welcome to PrepsNet Coach Speak with McAdory Yellow Jackets head football coach Aryvia Holmes. Powered by CM Gridiron. Here's your host, Aubrey Johnson.
Welcome to another McAdory version of Coach Speak. Good to see you, Coach.
Yes, sir. Good to be seen again.
Good,
yes,
good. So this past week you suffered a tough loss to Hueytown, 27-14. Tell us about the night.
Well, you know, before the game when we had our other coaches talk, we talked about the things that I felt like we had to do to be successful. And, you know, one of the things we talked about is preparation. I felt like we prepared well. And I'm going to say this, you know, high school coaches don't get enough credit.
Right.
You know, when you start looking at some of the stuff that high school coaches do on a weekly basis,
yes, sir,
and preparing to play different teams. I know just for us, for example, we've saw different things every single Friday night. So, you know, what we're preparing for, we're really not getting on Friday night. So
right.
You got to have coaches that can adjust, that can adapt to the game plan that we thought we was going to get and we're not getting. Right. So it's tough. So hats off to all the high school coaches around the world, man, that put all the time and effort into and putting good product out on the field.
Sure.
So Hueytown prepared well. They really did.
Right.
They stopped us, our running game. But on the flip side of that, in our preparation, you know, we had some things that were open. We had some shots that we had drew up that were wide open. We hit on 2 of them, and we missed on like 3 or 4 of them.
Okay.
So, you know, going from preparation to effort, I thought our kids played hard. I really do. It wasn't for a lack of trying.
Right.
They tried really hard. They played physical. You know, when you give a team the ball on our own 10-yard line and on our own 20-yard line to start the game, it's going to be tough to win. So the last portion of seizing the moment is kind of what got us. You know, we didn't take advantage of the moments in that ball game that that could have gave us an opportunity to win it. If we take care of that early issues we had, I think it's a really close game at the end, and you never know kind of how it would have turned out. So
right. So any players that stood out for you?
Yeah, we had, again, we had some big plays in the passing game.
Yes, sir.
Fagan had a really good game again. Sean Tolbert had a long touchdown catch. Trent Charles had a long touchdown catch. So guys played really well in the passing game. I was disappointed in the run game.
Yeah.
Not to take anything away from Hueytown. They did a really good job up front of kind of schematically giving us problems.
Gotcha.
But passing-wise, our quarterback, he was amped up. He was throwing the ball probably as far as I've ever seen him throw the ball. You know, so we were missing. We were missing on some of those balls. But I was encouraged to see that he cares. He really does care. That game meant a lot to him. So now I got to figure out a way to, when we get in those big ball games, to make sure he stays settled down, stays and plays within himself so we can connect on some of those plays.
Sure, absolutely. So we always ask about the injury bug. How did you fare?
We were fine. Fine. We had, oddly enough, we had some kids cramp.
Really?
You know, this late in the season, that's a little strange.
Yeah, it is.
So we got to go back to some of the stuff during the week, making sure we take care of everything with, you know, our BioLite and our hydration and stuff like that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But other than that, you know, a couple bangs and bruises here and there, but nothing substantial.
Well, good. I want to stop at this point and say a big congratulations to you. You've been selected as one of the coaching staff for the AHSAA North-South All-Star game. So big congrats to you. Tell us a little bit about that game.
Well, that's an honor for sure. I had an opportunity to coach in the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game also.
Oh, good.
And, you know, the kids get a ton out of it.
Right.
But what a lot of people don't see is what the coaches get out of it. Not only do you get an opportunity to coach really good football players, but you also get an opportunity to be around really good coaches.
Right.
And you get an opportunity to bounce ideas off of other guys.
Sure.
See how people do different things. And just the camaraderie of being together for an entire week. Those relationships, from that Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game, I still talk to all those guys.
Right.
Going into the North-South game, with Coach Sam Allen being the head coach, one of my best friends, it's going to be fun. I know that he is a competitor. I know that the guys that he has on his staff are competitors. So we're going to try to put a good product on the field and see what happens.
Now that comes up, I think it's a week after the end of the Super 7. Am I right on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
yes,
good
sir.
deal. So be on the lookout for that. This week you play host to Paul Bryant. They're winless on the season. Tell me what you think you'll expect to see from them.
Well, what I told my kids was I've definitely seen a shift in Paul Bryant from the beginning of the season to now.
Right.
First off, as always, I think it's just something they got going on in Tuscaloosa, but they're big and they're athletic.
Wow.
And everybody we play from Tuscaloosa area are big and athletic. But what I've seen from them is, early in the season, they were trying to develop their identity a little bit.
Sure.
And I know Coach Jones came in late, so he didn't have a whole lot of time to kind of put in what he wanted to put in.
Right.
So they was a little bit of spread and throw it around a little bit, run the ball. But they've transitioned to, they're playing smash mouth football now.
Right.
And it's really giving them an opportunity to stay in ball games, to be successful. You don't see the lopsided defeats anymore.
Right.
They're, 1 or 2 touchdowns away from some victories. So
Right.
I think they're going to continue to get better. It's going to be a challenge for us. It's senior night. So hopefully, our guys will come out and play hard and make sure that, we continue to do some of the stuff that we've always done.
Right,
Yes.
right. Good deal. Well, you mentioned Coach Jones. That is Coach Christian Jones of Alabama fame. He's a green, brand new head coach. And like we said, he's got a winless record now 0-7. It would be easy to say, check that off as a win on paper at least, before you even step on the field. Why is that dangerous thinking for your team?
Because we get film.
Right.
And we see that they're still playing hard.
Right.
So, you can say whatever you want to say about the records and stuff, but Coach Jones got those kids inspired.
Right.
He got them playing hard.
Good.
They're showing up. It's not one of those situations where they're going to show up and half the team is going to be quit or ready for basketball. We're not talking about those situations.
Right.
We're going to have to play really, really well and hard and be sound and disciplined in all phases of the game to get a win. So, we've had a really good week of practice. We're going to continue to prepare today and tomorrow and Thursday and make sure that, we're ready to go when it's time to go.
Yes, sir. Well, good deal. Well, that's the end of this part of the show. But, Coach, we've got another special guest coming in here in just a moment, right after this message.
PrepsNet Coach Speak is powered by CM Gridiron. CM Gridiron is your home of fan-focused Alabama high school football. From our weekly interactive Team of the Week and Offensive and Defensive Fan-Selected Player of the Week polls to the Alabama High School Stadium Tour, player profiles, Coach of the Week features, and live in-game scoreboards, CM Gridiron is the largest fan-driven digital platform in the state of Alabama. Your team, your voice, your vote, your game. CM Gridiron.
Welcome back. We have with us a special guest, defensive coordinator Johnathon Howard of the Yellow Jackets. Welcome in.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Good deal. So tell us a little bit about your coaching background, where you came from, how you ended up here, and how long you've been here.
Okay, so this is my 12th year working at McAdory.
Oh, wow.
Only place I've ever worked at a high school level. Previously, I was a grad assistant with strength and conditioning at UAB a couple of years before I got here at McAdory. Helped with the football team in the weight room, baseball team, and even some track and field. Then once I got here, I've been helping with basketball for all 12 years, been assistant coach with Coach Poindexter. I've even coached a little volleyball along the way. But the last 6 years is where I've been with the football program, and this is my first year as defensive coordinator.
Well, good deal. That sounds awesome. What era of UAB was that? Who was head coach at the time?
So I got a little bit of McGee. So
Garrett McGee.
When Coach McGee, so it was the winter where Coach McGee had gotten hired, and it was coming off of previous coach being let go. So I was only there for 1 year as a grad assistant. I had already completed a year of my master's, and when I got in, so I had one to go. So I got a little bit of two different eras right there.
Good deal. So what is kind of your coaching philosophy for the defense?
So it's kind of multi-layered. So I want to be as complex as possible while keeping it as simple for the kids as possible.
There you go. Yeah.
So,
not easy to do, is it?
No, it's not. So it puts a lot on the verbiage and the play calling terminology.
Yes, sir.
To make it to where we can move in different fronts and different coverages and move a certain person here or there.
Right.
And not force the entire group to learn something new. But, sometimes it can make the play call a little bit lengthy, but if an only trigger word means something for one particular guy or one particular group, then it makes it easier for the kids to kind of retain the knowledge, and once they are comfortable, now they can play faster and play more confident.
Good.
So instead of making it, a bunch of blanket terminology, hey, if I can tell you to do yours, you to do yours, and now we can go around and try to make some things happen.
Gotcha. So a coach is really a leader of young men.
Yes.
It's even a calling, if you will. How did you find your way into this?
Well, first off, it's just love of the sport. Okay. My brother played college ball. My dad was always a big fan. My mom's a big ball fan. So that kind of got me into the sport. Then you got to get to the point of recognizing that these are the adults that we are trying to get into society and get them into society where they can be successful, therefore making our society successful.
Sure.
So there's a lot of life lessons that can be learned through this sport. There's defeat, there is dejection, there's sadness, there's triumph, and how do you handle all of those things?
Right.
How do you handle being put in a difficult situation? How do you handle success?
Right.
And so it's using this sport as a vessel, using it as a guidelines to show kids, hey, who are you when the chips are down?
Yes.
Who are you when the chips are up?
Very
and
much so.
To teach them, and so they can learn that, because a lot of them will go through it and they won't even realize how they're conducting themselves, but it's like, hey, just pause. Things got tough right here.
Right.
Where you're at your best. Things got great where you're at your best, and using those things. So
catch them in the current moment and use it as a teachable moment.
Exactly.
Yeah, good deal. I don't have to tell you this, but coaching can be a difficult, tough task at times. It can be thankless. It's long hours, sometimes into the wee hours of the morning, and you get to sleep after the season's over, right?
Right. Exactly.
So what motivates you to keep doing this?
It might be vain, but I like to be successful.
Okay.
I like to be successful, and I like to compete, and I like to do the best job that I can. Yeah. And so if that requires some late hours, early mornings, that's what it is.
Right.
And so I like to challenge myself. I like to push myself to towards excellence. Now, I don't say that I always achieve it, but I want my mindset and my effort to be there. And so that's what pushed me into those late hours. And then thankfully I got an understanding wife who,
you have to have one of those, right?
Who doesn't give, she supports me in that. So
yeah, for sure. Good deal. So looking back over your coaching career thus far, I'm sure there's been several moments that are aha moments or defining moments. Give us one example of those.
I would say the first game of this year is my first game as a defensive coordinator. We're playing Pleasant Grove, and it starts off swell.
Yeah.
And I got to feeling myself a little bit. And, I got a little comfortable.
Yeah.
And then things took a turn, and it was scrambling to solve problems. So it went from creating problems to solving problems.
Right.
And just that shift in my mindset, the shift in the kids, and finding that solution, and finding a way to get the win at the end. And then it was just like the weight of the world and the weight of everything was off of my shoulders for a couple of minutes. Just like, we figured it out. We got the win.
Yes.
But this job is tough. You know, that was definitely like his first game, and I got hit with it all.
Right, right. Well, that's pretty recent for a learning, and that's what it was a learning, right?
Exactly, always. But that was definitely taught me a lot.
Okay, well, fantastic. Well, Coach, we certainly appreciate you coming in.
No problem.
And we appreciate you watching each and every week. Watch us again next week for another McAdory version of Coach Speak.